Was your student offered federal work study as part of their financial aid package through the university? If so, you might be wondering, what is it and should we take advantage of this? Well, I'm going to share a few actual stories of students that use this program and help you and your student decipher if this is a good fit for your student or maybe it's not. It's not for everyone. So I'm going to show you exactly what you need to know about the Federal Work Study program in this video. Now make sure you click subscribe because in addition to this, I'm going to share a new strategy every single week on how you and your student can work towards a debt-free degree. Hello, my name is Jocelyn Pearson, founder of the Scholarship System, where we do exactly that. We walk families through figuring out how to pay for college to minimize student debt as much as possible. In fact, we primarily focus on helping families get scholarships, and we have now almost hit $10 million that our families have secured. So again, make sure you click subscribe because you're not going to want to miss this along with all the other tips that we share. So what is the Federal Work Study program? Well, this program is an excellent opportunity for many students to gain valuable work experience and also earn money while they're doing it. Now, many students might decide that a part-time job is, in fact, a good fit for them. In fact, actually, the stats say that if it is less than 20 hours per week, having a part-time job could possibly increase their GPA. I will say from personal experience, having that part-time job has really taught time management skills. It teaches you how to prioritize different tasks. There's really just so many perks outside of just earning money, which of course is an obvious one. Now, for some students, that part-time job might be through the Federal Work Study program if it is offered to them. So just two cool examples of Federal Work Study. First is one student, she actually was able to read to students at an elementary school, and that counted as her hours in order to receive the funding that she got through Federal Work Study. Another story is a student who was working in the financial aid office as a Federal Work Study student. However, the student did such an amazing job that they decided to offer them a permanent position. So it was no longer contingent on that award through FAFSA, through the financial aid package. So I think some people think that, okay, you have to be working at the bookstore or the cafeteria or something like that if you're going to use Federal Work Study, but there are, including those jobs, but there are so many additional options out there. I'm going to share some more in just a bit. Now, comment below, parents, let me know what kind of part-time jobs did you have as a college student? What were some of the things that you did to make money to pay for college? Or if your student's already in school, what are they doing to make money? Go ahead and comment below. I'd love to see all the different ideas. So what is Federal Work Study? Federal Work Study is a part-time opportunity for students on campus typically that allows a student to earn money. Now, not every school will have this opportunity, so it really does depend on the university. And also, funds are limited, so not everyone who say they apply for the position will get it. It's not guaranteed if a student has it on their package that they're going to find a job in order to receive that funding. Now, alternatively, a student could be awarded Federal Work Study funding through their package, but they don't have to accept it. So if they don't want to take advantage of it, if they don't want that job on campus, then they don't have to use it. It just won't, nothing will happen with that amount. Now, when it comes to Federal Work Study, most schools and positions will require an interview, typically with the supervisor. So this is an official position that a student would have to apply for. So if your student is interested in this, I'm going to share with you the steps on what you need to do in order to take advantage of it in just a moment. Lastly, I want to mention that this type of financial aid is available to undergraduate, graduate, and professional students that have financial needs. So this is not just for undergraduate students. Before we get into who's eligible and how to take advantage of it, I want to share just some of the benefits. So I briefly touched on this, but first and foremost, a student can gain true work experience. Now this, of course, throughout college, they are building their resume. Whatever they are doing over their years in college, that is what's going to get them their full-time job. So this could be a great way to build experience. Now, some schools will try to align the position with the student's major or with their career path that they're pursuing. For example, maybe a marketing student would be given a position where they're working on some marketing campaigns or some flyers for the university, or maybe they're going to work with the foundation, the college's foundation and press department. So they will try to align it to the major. That doesn't happen in every case, of course. Another benefit of taking advantage of this is that whoever your student is working with, they can become references, whether that's for future internships or jobs or scholarships or any kind of referral program that they need. They could use their supervisor from this position. And in addition to that, it's just simply a great relationship to build in general, to go to this person for questions or experience or maybe letters of recommendation, whatever it is. So building that network certainly becomes easier if you're given a position through federal work study. Another perk is that typically these jobs accommodate your student's schedule. So it is possible that they can give their schedule and the job will be between their classes. A lot of times it's also more flexible in the sense of, say it's exam week, they will work with the students to work around their schedule for exams, or if they have a really hard week, maybe they can cut back on some hours just for that week. So just because these jobs are through the university, they tend to be a little bit more sympathetic towards what a student needs in order to succeed at the university. So that flexibility is certainly a huge perk. Now, the last benefit, and possibly the most important, is that a student will earn money to possibly help pay for college or whatever it is that they need money for, even if it's outside expenses, because that money is paid directly to the student. So this is just like any other job where your student will receive a paycheck. What are the cons? Honestly, I couldn't think of too many. The first is that sometimes the hourly rate that a student is given for federal work study is not that attractive. So maybe they can get a better hourly rate outside of a university job. For example, actually, I was a server when I was in college because I could make a pretty decent hourly wage, way more than, say, a federal work study would be paying. But a lot of times those rates do vary based on the role. So it really depends. Your student has to weigh their options here when it comes to comparing different opportunities. The other con is that the earnings are taxable. But at the same time, this is pretty neutral because any other job that they'd have is taxable as well. So how can a student be eligible for federal work study? Well, the first and most important step, and you might be sick of hearing this if you've been listening to all of our other videos, the first step is submitting FAFSA. You're probably not surprised to hear that. So submitting FAFSA is how a student can open up the doors to the potential for a lot of financial aid. This is financial aid awarded through submitting FAFSA. So again, first and foremost, submit FAFSA. If your family has any questions around FAFSA, we're going to link to our FAFSA playlist in the description where you can check out the 3 biggest mistakes families make with that. We have some on how to fill it out. We have some on just so many different questions when it comes to FAFSA. So any questions you have around that, you can check out that playlist after this video. It's linked in the description. The second criteria is that your student has to meet the satisfactory academic progress requirements. So SAP requirements. They have to be a student in good standing, basically. Another one is that they simply have to be eligible for federal financial aid. So anything that would knock them out of the running for any kind of aid would knock them out of the running for this because this is federal aid. Another requirement of this is having financial need beyond the Pell Grant. So a student will be given Pell Grant before they'd be given work study, which is great because Pell Grant is free money and work study you have to work for. So again, in that FAFSA playlist we're going to link to, we explain the Pell Grant and how to get it in more detail. So make sure you check that out. And last but not least, one of the steps is going to be completing tax documents. So again, it is taxable. Your student will have to submit some tax information in order to complete their steps in order to get this job. I just want to add, if your student is considering federal work study and they're looking for more money to pay for college, make sure that they are not ruling out scholarships, okay? This is just a quick side note, but scholarships are money for college that they don't have to work hourly for besides submitting the applications. In fact, we have students where they're averaging $100, $200 an hour between the awards versus what the application took as far as time. So if you're curious on how our students find and identify legitimate scholarships with less competition, I'm going to link to my free training in the description below. You should also see it somewhere on this screen. That free training will walk you through the exact steps we take to find those scholarships that students can receive. And by the way, they can be doing this all throughout their 4 years in college. So it's never too late to start this process. So again, make sure that you check out that free training once we wrap up this video. A few things to note with federal work study is that first and foremost, it is contingent based on your student being able to work sufficient hours that do not conflict with their schedule. So of course, in order to fulfill a position, they have to be able to truly fulfill it by meeting any kind of time requirements. At the same time, they have to balance it with their schedule. So this is something to consider. Another aspect that might be something that you want to consider is that these are typically only scheduled during school terms. So these jobs will not be during holiday breaks or summer break, which might be a good thing because then a student can get another job during those times, maybe back home where they can make extra money. But typically they will only work when the school is in session. Another thing is that awards are only paid during the academic year, and a student cannot go beyond the amount that they're awarded. So if they're awarded, say, $5,000, but they want to work more hours, they can only work up to that $5,000 that was awarded through FAFSA. Another thing that I briefly mentioned earlier is that the rate will vary. So the rate of pay, the hourly rate, can vary based on the school, based on the position, based on their experience. Is it their first time in the role? Are they a returning student? So the rate can vary. So this might be something where your student can shop around a little bit. Now, again, like I mentioned earlier, you may not get federal work study. Maybe you don't meet the requirements, or maybe your student simply just wants to take advantage of money that they don't have to work hourly for. So make sure that you take advantage of that free training that I'm linking in the description below. Now, I gave you two cool examples earlier of students that used federal work study to, one, read books in elementary schools, which sounds so much fun, and second, to get a permanent position at the financial aid office. So those were two quick examples, but some more examples might be working as a library assistant or an office assistant, an admin. Maybe they're at the weight room or the gym on campus. Maybe they're tutoring. Maybe they're a teacher's assistant. Maybe there are some off-campus jobs, but they're somehow really close related to the university, and those are included. So like, again, reading to students at an elementary school. So there are so many different kinds of positions that a student can access through the federal work study. It just depends on what their specific school will offer. Now, if your student's looking for jobs, maybe they want to try out other things outside of this federal work study. Maybe they want to see if they can get a better hourly rate. I'm also going to link in the description to one of our best blogs. It's a complete guide on the best jobs for teenagers and young adults. And so we share multiple different ideas that can range from doing things on their own time to flexible work to online work, etc. So make sure that you go through the description because we have tons of resources linked down there. Remember that federal work study can be an amazing opportunity for a lot of students. It is awarded only through submitting FAFSA. So your student has to submit FAFSA to become eligible for this. And if they have submitted it and they see it on their roster, you still have the opportunity to accept or decline the federal work study offering that's in that package. And again, this comes down to weighing what kind of jobs are available, what kind of hourly rate are they talking about. So everything that I discussed in this video, you want to make sure that you're weighing with your student before really jumping into this. Don't take the assumption that it's the best opportunity, but for many students, it is a great opportunity. Now, the other thing, again, is that on this channel, I am discussing tons of different strategies when it comes to working towards that debt-free degree. This is just the tip of the iceberg. So make sure that you click subscribe and also check out those resources that I linked to in the description. All right, again, my name is Jocelyn Pearson, founder of the Scholarship System. I will see you in the next video.